Hello guys, kamusta? And for today's video, we'll be tackling one of the critical portions of the scholarship, the Global Career Scholarship, and this will be about the interview. Usually, the embassy and the university conducts interview to assess further competencies of the applicants that are not evident in the documents. At the same time, they do conduct interview to validate if this information are actually true. So somehow along the lines of them questioning, asking information, asking more details, they will be able to decipher, okay, this applicant could have been adding some stuff with the essays. Could have been the other documents could have been tampered or not true. The interview portion will be the opportunity for the interviewers to know you better. So I usually think for this is for me. For me, the interview is the opportunity for you, the applicants, to share things beyond the grades, beyond the recommendation letters, and beyond the essay. It's more of how would you respond to the question instantaneously? How would you formulate your answers quickly? And then how would you answer them correctly? And in this interview round, could it be a make or break portion for you, especially for those who have almost identical or similar ratings in terms of the documents and other stuff, other requirements? This could put you ahead of the others applicants, or this could put you behind them. So it is important for you to nail your interview. A number one tip I can give you when you're going to have an interview, be it embassy or university, is first read your essays, read your personal statement, read your study plan. Because majority of the instances or most of the time, the questions will be coming from these essays. Majority of the time, the reviewers would be basing their questions on these essays. So it would be advantageous for you if you have them even in your laptop, in your iPad. Actually read them before the interview, have them ready during the interview. Just so when they ask specific questions relating to these essays, you can easily share information. But to begin with, this is what I've been telling to all the people who have asked assistance from me reviewing their essays. Make sure you're telling the truth. Because it's actually hard to fabricate a lie, and there will be an instance or an opportunity for them to actually determine that you're lying. Be it in the way you answer, inconsistencies with what you say and what you wrote, those things could be an opportunity for them to determine, okay, this applicant could have been lying in the first place. So, again, readying your personal statement, your essays would be the first tip I can give you. Number two. Number two would be relax yourself. Relax before the interview and relax yourself during the interview. Why? Because majority of the interviews will be conducted online, right? Either phone call, Zoom, Skype, no matter how they would conduct it, it will be best if you will be relaxed during the particular moment for you to hear the questions. The panel will be composed of people from the embassy, either from your nationality and a Korean, so usually a mixture of two. And with that, although they're fluent with speaking in English, or maybe you chose to communicate in Korean, there will be like instances of in which you'll be not be able to understand what they're saying. And being relaxed during the interview would put you in a state of mind that, okay, anything they say, you clearly understand, and you'll be able to clearly digest what they're saying. And that's the second tip I can give you. Relax yourself. Relax. You've relaxed already. Number three is prepare possible questions. Most of the time, the interview would be revolving around why Korea, why choose this university, why Global Korea Scholarship Program. Those things are most of the time are asked to the applicants. Okay, let's digest that and then try to decipher how to answer why Korea. Why Korea, why GKS scholarship, and why the specific university. Actually, as I am trying to provide key guide questions for the interview, I'm also thinking about it. Like, why Korea? Why did I chose to go to Korea? Why did I chose to study in Hanyang University? Why I chose to apply for the Global Korea Scholarship Program? And fortunately, I was able to answer those questions when I was writing my personal statement. And just to give you, if in the event that I was asked this during the interview, I would say I chose Korea because of the history of business, how it relied on business in terms of its growth, and how business is deeply rooted on the progress in this country. Although we can see there are changes that could not be pleasant or good for for the country as a whole, we cannot deny the fact that business is critical for South Korea. Second is that Korea is the land of startups. They give a lot of funding for social entrepreneurship. And for me, as an MBA student, having an opportunity to explore these initiatives, programs of the government in the universities for startups and funding is a plus. It's one of the things I seek. It's one of the things that I want. And Korea provides it to me. So, coming from just those two statements, you'll be able to identify that Korea has the opportunities that I need and Korea has the opportunities that I want. So, with that, I can easily tell the reviewers, the interviewers, like there are no other countries that could satisfy my desire for learning, and that's only Korea. And okay, we're done with the question why Korea. Um, we can now go to the question why Hanyang University. So when I was researching for a university here in South Korea, I saw a lot of universities that are highly regarded when it comes to their business program. And what struck me with Hanyang University is one is their connection with the industry. It's one of the key factors I considered because when I go to a business school, I just don't want to study theories. I want real life examples, real life experiences. And Hanyang University having those things made me more inclined with choosing Hanyang University over the other universities. Second is with culture. I chose Hanyang University because I feel that the culture of innovation is somehow the one I want to experience. If I want to start my own business, I want to be incorporating technology with my business, Hanyang University is the best environment that would help me develop those skills. This will be asked during the interview. Okay, why Hanyang University? Hanyang University's culture and environment is conducive for me to learn business from a standpoint of an insider to the business as well as an outsider to the business. Insider in a way that I can easily access business through the connections of Hanyang University. On the outsider's perspective, being I don't have a business yet, I can appreciate how complex business could be based on the teachings being provided by the professors. Because when I also checked the list of professors, they're not only they don't only have PhDs, they also have interactions with existing current businesses in South Korea, LG, Samsung, Hyundai, and these experiences are the ones they give us. These are the ones they teach us, and that's for me is the best way for me to learn business, learning it from an outsider's perspective and learning it from the insider's perspective. So hopefully by that answer, they'll be able to, okay, this Hanyang University is the best fit for this student or this specific applicant. The third one would be, why global career scholarship and not other scholarships? Why not university scholarships? For me, I would be blunt about it and then just say, Global Career Scholarship is a complete package. Not only with the financial and living allowance, not only with the free tuition fee, not only with the freedom to choose the university as well as the course, it gives something more. How? It gives me opportunity to create linkages with different nationalities living in South Korea. It gives me opportunity to immerse myself with the Korean culture through the 1-year Korean language program. It gives me the opportunity to familiarize myself with the Korean culture by inviting me here in South Korea to study. So these things are learnings beyond the school. And the Global Korea Scholarship Program is the only scholarship I can think of currently of the moment that can provide me these scholarships. Although there are like scholarships like POSCO, KOICA, and everything, it's the linkages and then the number of opportunities I can see myself doing with GKS that made me want to choose it. Oh, yeah, one more I think that you should be mindful of is the question about how would you strengthen the relationship of your country and South Korea. For me, it's a case-to-case basis. What I mean by that is it depends on the relationship of Korea and your country. But one thing you must do is you should incorporate your major to that specific cause, to the strengthening of connection between South Korea and the Philippines. It would be easier if you'll be taking international relations and then answering that question, right? But you must be able to still stitch information relating to your major. Like for example, business. I can say I'll be creating business that celebrates products from both countries and create like a bridge that could introduce Korean culture in my country in the Philippines, or vice versa. Create a business here in South Korea that actually celebrates the culture of my country, making Korea a diverse country hosting a cultural melting pot, something of that line. But make sure that you would be expounding on how your business, how your major would be helping specifically on this cause, strengthening Korea and your country's relationship. Aside from those scripted questions, generic ones, just prepare for like weird current event questions. For example, relating to what's happening with the war and everything, like even Corona. These questions could be like they are testing you on how or your knowledge of the current events, and are you actually watching what's happening in the world? Because if they'll be able to see that, okay, person is academically good, but somehow he lacks awareness of what's happening around him or her, that's actually not a good thing to see, especially or to notice during the interview. So having knowledge of what could be the impact of this, what could be the impact further in terms of the movement of people, peace talks and everything of the ongoing war, those things, it's not bad to have idea specifically on those topics, just to prepare yourself because they may ask questions relating to that. Okay, another possible question, I just thought of it just now, is if you have previous interactions with Korean or have you been to Korea? Because when you submit your documents, you indicate there, right, that on this year I went to Korea to visit, something like that. If you put some information on those, they would probably ask your experience regarding your visit to Korea, and just to put a good impression on it, just say good things that you experienced, all the things that you've learned, how this experience visiting Korea as a tourist changed your perspective about Korea, Or maybe like, are there candid moments when you had interactions with Koreans? Like, for example, you're lost in train station, then you ask someone and then they helped you. Those things, they'll appreciate you sharing stories like those. And yeah, just be positive with the outlook of it. But if they ask you something that is not good or like a bad experience in South Korea, it'll be on your discretion if you'll say it. But for me, I would rather not say it, just for the reason that you'll be staying here in South Korea for the next 3 years if you're master's and 4 years for PhD. And you having a bad experience might probably have another event happening like that. And yeah, this is just them checking how well you are in terms of your understanding of Korean culture, your perception of people in South Korea, how you perceive the language, their customs. So just be positive with the responses, and then yeah, actually thinking about the content specifically for the interview round. I visualize myself being the position of the one being interviewed, and maybe I'm not sure if I'll do it good or not, but I'm okay with speaking, communicating in English, expressing my thoughts, formulating my ideas, and then sharing with people. But I think the interview will be more than that, because they will know if you are saying things that are rehearsed, that are memorized. With the idea of interview, it's more of snap responses, the candid moments, out of the blue questions and out of the blue responses. Sometimes these things, these nuances, can actually be a good thing, good impression. Because we don't like rigidity, we don't like formulated answers. They might be looking for someone that is like, you know, an easygoing person. And although if you're not like that in the real life, I won't tell you to pretend to be like that in real life. But as much as possible, try to be lively. Try to be make them feel that you're excited for the interview, because that would be reflective of that would be reflected in your tone, in the voice, in actually the words you say. So yeah, interview is a complex thing, especially if you don't know the atmosphere. So maybe the last tip I would be sharing with you would be authentic you. Be the authentic you. Okay. Some minor things to consider. Maybe check the internet connectivity. Make sure it's strong, reliable, and for example, try calling yourself. Try asking someone to call you and then check if the quality of voice you're producing is good, if your mic is working, is your lighting good, is your environment good. They might be like flowing things in the back that could somehow distract the interviewers. Those things, like those minor things, would be prepared beforehand. Like if your interview schedule is 12 o'clock, 1 p.m., at least be ready at least 12:30. You're already in your station. Everyone in your family are oriented that there'll be an interview. Those minor things could actually make or break your interview. Because like for example, some if there'll be someone talking at the back suddenly while you're having your interview, that might give a negative impression to the interviewers. If there'll be like unnecessary noise from the outside, like what you're hearing now from the road, it somehow creates an impression that is not this person is not really that prepared. It's like, is he or she ready actually for the interview? Those things. So like in the lighting, if they cannot see you clearly, face value adds value to your application, although it's not a requirement that you look like a model, or like the lighting is so good. It's just that they want to see your face. They want to see if you're actually, your eyes would tell something, if you're interested or not, if you are nervous or not. So make sure like lighting, you have your water with you, the mic is well placed. Like if you use microphone, headset, or like AirPods, make sure to check everything. Those minor things can, yeah, as I've been mentioning, those minor things can actually make or break your interview. And you're done. After at least 10 minutes, I'm not sure for the other countries, but in my country, in Philippines, it's 10 minutes. That's it. That's the interview round. For the embassy. That's for the embassy. Somehow the university track, I think, would be almost or nearly the same. However, the difference would be the questions would be related more about the university. Again, it's so sorry, I cannot really give an example about Hanyang University interview because I was not interviewed. When I submitted my documents, I just waited for 3 months and then they emailed me, you passed second round. And that's it. No interview, no other, like, the last email I received before I received the positive news of passing was your email was your document was received, and that's about it. And I was like waiting for them. Okay, will they be conducting interviews? I even emailed them like 5 times during the span of 3 months, and they did not reply. And the thing is, when they just said, okay, this will be the last, the email was like, congratulations, you passed the first round of assessment. We will give your document to NIID. And I was like, I don't know what to feel. And I was like, not sure if this is true or not, because my other colleagues, my other friends are actually stressing out of the interview. Oh, how was your interview? What was your interview questions? How did you do during the interview? And I was like, I never had an interview. Even when NIID assessed the documents, they did not even conduct interview as well. So all these information are based on what the other applicants have told me, based on my experience with interview on work, and like what I hear on the other people who undergone interview in university and embassy track. And yeah, my impression, my knowledge about interview in general. So hopefully during this interview stage, be it university or embassy track, you'll be able to answer the questions and nail it. And just like that, bye bye. Hope to see you soon.